Hi, I'm Slavik with IDrinkCoffee.com. Today I'm proud to present the ECM Synchronika version 2. ECM is a brand that we have been working very closely together with for over 10 years now. It's a brand that we are proud to represent in Canada because they produce some of the best espresso machines in the entire world. ECM manufacturing is headquartered in the beautiful city of Heidelberg, Germany, and many of the machines, including the Synchronika 2, are made right in Heidelberg. The Synchronika 2 is the latest generation, the newest iteration of the very legendary ECM Synchronika. This is a dual boiler machine that has long been one of our best sellers, probably the best seller in the dual boiler category. It has a reputation for incredible build quality, fantastic aesthetics, and industry-leading reliability. To demonstrate the Synchronika 2, I'm going to show you many of its features. I'm going to discuss what makes it different from the original version. And then, of course, I'm going to brew some drinks. I'm going to make some shots of espresso, some milk-based drinks, and an Americano. From an aesthetics point of view, not a lot has changed. The machine does have a similar look to the V1. It works. It's very popular. There's no reason to change it. We have the two oversized gauges. The one on the left is the boiler pressure, so that's the pressure inside your steam boiler, and the right is our pump pressure. They're nice looking oversized gauges right at the top. Actually, ECM has a design patent on E61 groups that allows them to put those gauges at the top. It's the only machine you're going to find with that gauge placement. We still have the E61 brew group, which is of course the most widely used commercial brew unit in the world. One modification, of course, that ECM makes is the cap up here, which we call the mushroom. It's a single piece, which makes it aesthetically better looking. A lot of these are kind of two pieces. They don't look as nice. ECM does add that little touch of refinement, which I really like. Also, from an aesthetics point of view, very famous ECM caps. So the portafilter has this nice stainless steel cap at the end, feels good in your hand, nice and heavy, adds a lot of weight to the portafilter. It's really high quality, and we find the same kind of accents on the steam and hot water valves. And of course, these are joystick style valves, so they're instant on and instant off. So I can put this in any position to get my steam. It'll lock in many different positions. And that's also made out of ceramic. These are non-wearing valves. This should last a very, very long time. On the inside of the Synchronika, we find two boilers. This is a dual boiler machine, of course. So you have one boiler for your steam and hot water production and one boiler for your coffee. The machine has a rotary pump, which is extraordinarily quiet. One of the things that's really great about the Synchronika, it's one of the quieter machines on the market. And the rotary pump also allows us, aside from being quiet and more robust, it also gives us the option to run this machine either as a pour over using the tank that's just up here, or we can run it directly plumbed into your water connection in your home. At the top, I have my cups up here. This is passive heat from the boilers, but I just want to show you that water tank I mentioned. There's just a little kind of door that opens, and the water tank is here. It's a large opening. It's easy to fill, and that's just right there. The major change, of course, on this machine is the advanced OLED PID. So the PID, first of all, is much larger than before, so we have a larger readout. It shows in the default mode the temperatures inside both boilers. I've got my coffee boiler set to 191 degrees Celsius, and the steam boiler is at 128 degrees Celsius. The big change and the big improvement on the version 2 over the version 1 is the PID. The OLED PID adds a lot of functionality, which I'm going to go over in just one moment. But you can see the display is also significantly larger than before. It's aesthetically nicer looking as well. The PID just kind of blends with the backplate of the machine, and we use this knob here to adjust it and to make changes. This is very cool, very satisfying to use. It's a rotary style knob. The default information we see when the machine is standing by, it shows me the readout of the temperatures inside my boilers. My coffee boiler is set to 91 degrees, and my steam boiler right now is at 129 degrees Celsius. The ECM Synchronika comes with two portafilters. This is the dual spout portafilter, but includes a single spout portafilter. It also comes with a very nice tamper, this tamper right here. This is a stainless steel base and a nice handle, and that's included inside the box as well. I have some additional accessories here, like the ECM distributor, the ECM tamping tool. These are sold separately. Now let's see the many features that the OLED adds to the Synchronika 2. When the machine is in standby mode like mine is right now, if we turn the dial to the right, the first option that we see is kind of like a little portafilter with a kind of like a water droplet over it. What that is pre-infusion. We can turn pre-infusion on and off. I currently have it off, but for my last drink, I'm going to turn it on to show you how that works. And the second option is the steam boiler. It's kind of like a steam icon. And this is if we want to turn the steam boiler on or off. If you want to use the machine only for espresso and not waste energy, you would turn the steam boiler off. However, if you like to froth for milk-based drinks, which I'm going to be doing, or if you want an Americano, of course, you would leave that on. To enter the programming menu, we press the rotary dial twice. And then we have a whole wide variety of different options. The first one is brew temperature, and we can set the brew temperature to whatever we like. I've got mine set to 91 degrees Celsius. The second option says steam enable, and what that is again just turning the steam boiler on or off, which I discussed earlier. The third option is steam temperature, and this is where we set our steam temperature. It was at 128 degrees. I'm actually going to raise it to the maximum, which is 134 degrees. So that's going to give me a lot of steaming pressure. We're going to see the manometer, the pressure gauge on the left, rise to about 2 bars. You can set this to whatever you like. If you want more steam or less steam, it's entirely up to you. We have 2 options in the pre-infusion: active and passive. Active means how long the pump is on. So it's currently set to 4 seconds, and passive means it pauses. So you can run the pump, introduce some water to the puck, for 4 seconds, and then wait for 5 seconds. And of course, you can set that to whatever you like. After pre-infusion, there's eco mode. I currently have eco mode set at 30 minutes, but it goes all the way down to 10 minutes or all the way up to 600 minutes, which is 10 hours. You can also turn, if you don't like it, you can also turn eco mode off, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it off, and to save it, I just press this button again, and you see a check mark, and now it's saved. The machine is not going to have eco mode. Eco mode is basically like a standby mode. So if the machine's not being used for any amount of time, it turns off the heating in order to conserve energy. After eco mode, we have cleaning reminder. It's currently off, but you can set it to whatever you like, starting from 10 shots. Up all the way to 200 shots. So what will happen is if I set it, for example, I'm going to set it to 100 shots. So every 100 drinks, the machine is going to remind me to clean. And what that means is to backflush. It's a backflush reminder. The next option is to reset the reminder. And that's once you've done your cleaning, you press that and it starts again from 0. After that, we have advanced user settings, which I'm going to skip. The next option is the filter reminder, which is currently off. But if I set it to on, if I move the dial to the right, I can set it to how many liters. So again, this depends on the hardness of your water and if you're using the filter inside the tank, which I do recommend using. I'm going to leave it as off because here at the office, we do have already centrally filtered water, but this is a really cool feature. You put your filter in. It's not easy to remember how much water that you've used, but the Synchronika 2 does have that reminder to change your filter. The next option we have is whether or not to turn on the timer. And what the timer is, it's a 7-day schedule that allows us to set the machine to turn on at a certain time and turn off at a certain time. So for example, if you only use your machine in the morning, you may set it to turn on, let's say half an hour before you want to use it so the machine gets nice and warm. So we would set it, for example, for 5:30 in the morning, and then we would turn it off at 8 o'clock, for example. Or if you use your machine throughout the whole day, you can set it to turn on in the morning and then turn off in the evening, or whatever you prefer. And of course, this is based on each day. So of course, some people get up a little bit later on Saturday or Sunday, so we can have the machine turn on a little bit later and to be ready for us. This is a really great feature to save power so the machine's not running 24 hours a day. The next option is clock set. That's of course to set your clock. Schedule set is where you would set that schedule, which I just mentioned, the Sunday to Monday schedule. Another option is tank mode. That's where we turn off. If you plumb the machine in, you would just tell the machine that's no longer drawing water from the tank, but from the water main. The next option is the temperature units, and that, of course, is just changing the machine from Celsius to Fahrenheit based on your preference. The last option is the coffee offset correction. I don't suggest changing this without first speaking to a technician. Those are all the features of the OLED. You can see that it adds a lot of functionality, very desirable functionality, like The 7-day timer is very cool. The ability to turn pre-infusion on and off, the filter reminder, the backflush reminder. These are all really nice features, very useful, makes the ECM Synchronika 2 very desirable. So as we just saw, the new OLED PID adds really a lot of functionality and very useful functionality, like our backflush reminder, the filter change reminder, and of course that 7-day timer really gives you a lot of extra value and brings the Synchronika 2 really kind of to the next generation with all these additional features. Okay, now let's see the Synchronika 2 in action. Let's make some drinks. Of course, as is my tradition, first I'm going to make 2 shots of espresso. Alongside the Synchronika, I'm using the Eureka Libra 65 all-purpose. This is a new grinder from Eureka. It's got that great oversized dial that can be used for espresso, as I'm using it right now, or also for coarser brew methods like drip, what have you. I have it set to 18 grams, and I'm going to be looking to get about 36 grams out, which is a 2-to-1 ratio. Here I have the ECM tamping stand, which is one of my favorites. Keeps the keeps the portafilter nice and level. I'm using the distribution tool just to kind of even out my grinds. And my favorite tamper, the Puck Press Mini, makes tamping a breeze. So I'll put my portafilter in here, and I'm actually going to be weighing my shot because, like I said, I do want to get 36 grams out, and this is a Eureka Precisa scale. So that's all taired, and I'll begin my extraction. You can see the OLED has this nice, a really big readout of the time, which is a feature that I really like, nice and easy to read. And the timer is a feature that I really like on espresso machines. Because when I use a machine that doesn't have a timer, it's a feature that I miss, so I know it's a good one. So I stopped it right there, 29.3 seconds and 36.6 grams. That's pretty good. It's actually pretty close to perfect because usually I would aim for 30-second extraction, 2-to-1 ratio. This is going to be, I think, quite good. You can take a look at these shots. They look wonderful. I'm going to give this a little taste. That is pretty close to perfect. I know this coffee very well. This is the Sweet Collection from doTERRA Farms, a coffee we've been roasting for since we opened, 16 years, and wow, that's sensational. Next, I'm going to do a milk-based drink, and I'm going to be using my scale again because I do want to get this as precise as possible. So I'm going to place my 2 cups on here and tare. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be frothing and extracting my espresso at the same time. It's a little bit tricky because I only have 2 hands, but I'm going to do my best. So first we're going to purge the wand, kind of let any excess water out of there. And I'm going to begin my extraction and start froth. Again, I have it set at 2 bars, so I've got that maximum temperature set, so the milk is moving really, really nicely. You got great steaming power. Just stop that like there, and also stop my frothing. So the extraction this time came out a little bit different. I've got 37 grams, and I think it was about 26 seconds. It disappeared on me, but I believe that's what it was. Purge my wand. And now I'm going to add my milk. I'm making 2 nice little lattes that I can now enjoy. Really nice. And finally, I'm going to make an Americano. And as promised, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the pre-infusion on. So I'm going to go here, and now my pre-infusion's on. I'm going to have a 4-second pre-infusion, then a 5-second pause. I just left the default settings, and we're going to see how that works. So I like to do my Americanos water first. So I'm going to go over to the hot water wand here. Add some hot water. This is a fairly small cup, so I don't need that much. Put it onto my scale. tear. And let's begin the extraction. Now it counts down initially. You see it pauses, and then it'll begin the actual extraction. So of course, in order to properly dial this in, it would be more prudent of me to, of course, change the grind. I may have to go a little bit finer if I'm using pre-infusion, but I just wanted to show you that feature. I stopped it there. So that's 37 grams right now, 18 seconds plus the 4-second pre-infusion. It's about 22-second shot. It is a little bit on the fast side. So again, I would want to make my grind a little bit tighter, but you certainly do get the idea. And I've got a Americano that I can now enjoy. Now I'll give you a tip. I make Americanos at home very often. I would probably add just a little bit of cold water to this, because the water coming out of that steam boiler, I mean, it's hot, boiling hot. So it is a little bit warm to drink, but I'm going to give it a blow on it a little bit and give it a try. Yeah, it's nice. But again, it does need a little bit of time to cool down. I just add a splash of cold water in there from my filter, and that's usually how I have my coffee in the morning. The ECM Synchronika is a machine that is quite dear to me personally, because it's the machine I've had in my home for quite a few years. I love its kind of rugged, handsome, good looks. It's a very large and imposing kind of machine, but in a very good way. I really love the aesthetics. I love its reliability, the fact that it's super, super quiet, and most importantly, I really love the coffee that it makes. If you have any questions about the Synchronika 2, about the Eureka Libra 65 all-purpose, the Puck Press Mini, any of our accessories or any of our products, please feel free to reach out to IDrinkCoffee.com. We're here to help. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this about espresso machines, about coffee grinders, coffee machines, and everything to do with coffee. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.